construction outside of my apartment is at an all-time high today, so disregard any loud, crazy noises that'll probably end up scaring me at some point. Hey guys, it's V. So today I am filming yet another episode of V Vibes and Vents. I need some new dance moves. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, this is just where I do my makeup on camera with you guys and just vibe and vent about things going on in my life, whatever comes to mind. So if you like that, then you're in for a great video because I have a whole playlist of these videos and they're pretty long. So, you know, if you need something to watch when you're getting ready in the morning, I'll link my V Vibes and Vents playlist up here for you guys. So let's just go ahead and zoom in on my face and we'll get into it. So I do link all of the products down below just in case I don't talk about what I'm doing on my face. Everything will be in the description box, and as well as anything that's already on my face, which is foundation, concealer, eyeshadow primer, and brows. So yeah, let's get started on these eyes, shall we? I really want to use the Fireball eyeshadow from Urban Decay because I got this in my Ipsy bag a while ago, and I filmed a video where I had it kind of on the center of my lid, and a lot of you guys were like, please do a tutorial. And so I'm gonna do something like similar but not the same because this eyeshadow seriously looks good with so many colors. So I think I'm gonna go with like a sunset-y sort of vibe. So that's what we're going for today. So I'm also going to be using the Viseart Dark Mattes palette. I figured this would be a good palette to use because it's got lots of sort of warm, orangey, really pretty colors in it. So I think I'm going to start out with maybe this shade. It seems like the lightest other than this one. This one's a little too yellowy orange for me, so I think I'm going to start out with this one with a Real Techniques base shadow brush, and I'm going to try to blend that really lightly in my crease area, and then we get into the talking, the hanging out with you guys and the talking. I already dirtied up this packaging. I just got this thing like a week ago and it's already dirty. Okay, so I'm going to use the mirror in here though because it's a nice big mirror and it still has the little film on it. So satisfying. Okay, so we're just going to blend that, and it's probably going to be intense because these Viseart shadows are no freaking joke. So we're just going to keep blending until it's nice and, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep blending. That's all I can really tell you. So I thought today I would talk about my little nugget. My little nugget. You guys know her. You've met her. She's right here cleaning herself. Classic Espy. She's always doing that in my videos. But I thought I would talk about her because someone on my Snapchat asked if I could do like a story time on how I got Espy and how she came into my life. So I'll start out with when me and Blake first moved in together. So Blake and I have been living together for about 4 years. If you guys didn't know, we've been dating for just over 7 years and we've been living together for 4 years. And when we first moved in together, we moved in October, and we ended up getting our first cat in February of the next year, I believe, because I think we only had her for about 6 months. So the first cat that we got, she was a beautiful, just brown tabby cat, and her name was Rhea. I named her. I think she had a different name when we got her, but we got her from an agency, like an adoption agency. We did rescue her, so she was a rescue kitty, and she was just about like 6 months old, I believe, when we got her. Yeah, I want to say she was right around 6 months old. So we got her, and she was the sweetest, just most precious little kitty, and I loved her so much. She was so nice. She was always so sweet to me. She was such a nice little kitty. Okay, now I'm gonna take this like kind of rusty brick ready sort of shade and just kind of blend that underneath the orange to give us a little bit of a blend. But so I got Rhea and we had her for a while, and the entire time that we had Rhea, she always had health problems. She had an ear infection the entire time that we had her, so it was really stressful for me, honestly. I was at the vet with her like every other week, and she always had a health issue. Obviously, when you get an animal, you're gonna have to, you know, prepare yourself to pay what you need to pay in order to take care of them, and I did. And honestly, like, it put a big strain on my money because I was only working part-time right at this point. I was working part-time as an assistant manager at a retail store, and I really didn't have a lot of extra money. Like, you know, it was our first apartment together. The thing is, like, but really, like, I can't live without a cat. I know that may sound like, I don't know how that may sound to other people, but I've had a cat in my life, my entire life. I've never not had a cat. Like, when I was born, my mom had a cat that she had already had for a couple of years. That cat lived to be 19 years old, and I've always had a cat. Like, I love cats. Cats are my favorite animal, my favorite household pet. I'm totally a cat person, crazy cat lady, whatever you want to call it, but I love cats, and I would always choose to get a cat. Oh, and another thing about Rhea is she always had diarrhea. I switched her food up like the vet told me to, and she just always had diarrhea. I felt so bad for that poor little kitty. I was doing everything that I could for that poor little kitty. I really feel bad about the construction, but like, what am I gonna do? I really want to film today because it's really loud, but I'm really sorry about that. But I was doing everything that I could for that sweet little kitty, and I loved her so much. She was, you know, my first cat that I had ever bought on my own. She was mine. My parents didn't buy her for me. Like, they didn't name her. I got to name her what I wanted. She was mine. She was my kitty, and I loved her to death, and she was such a sweet girl. Okay, now I'm gonna take this really, really deep red color, and I'm gonna do that just on the outer and inner corners of my eye. So we had Rhea for a good 6 months, and you know, like I said, always at the doctor's office. It was really, really stressful. So one day she just all up and stopped eating, and I didn't know why, and so I immediately made her an appointment for the vet as soon as I could. And this was right around the 4th of July time, and I thought maybe it was just the food, because I had just recently switched her food to something else that the vet had recommended for me. So I went back and got her old food, and she ate a bowl of it, and then she stopped eating, and she got really, really thin over like 2 days. She got so thin, and she started having like really, really green boogers, which is not a good thing. If your cat has like super green boogers, you should take her to the vet, because it means something is wrong with her sinuses or something. So really, really green boogers. And so like I said, I had made her a vet appointment already, and I was gonna take her, but it was over 4th of July, and so I wasn't able to take her until after the holiday. So we actually went to my mom's. My mom lived in Fort Worth at the time, and we went to my mom's house to go watch fireworks, and we stayed the night at her house because it was quite a far drive from where we lived. And we stayed the night, and then we came back. I'm thinking that we actually stayed the night on the 3rd of July, and then we came back. God, that construction is so loud. So we stayed the night on the 3rd of July at my mom's house, and then on the 4th of July we came home, and I haven't talked about this in a really long time, but we came home and she was dead. She was lying on the bed, on Blake's side of the bed. Wow. I haven't talked about this in such a long time. Sorry, y'all. You know, I had left her a full bowl of food and water. You know, we were just staying the night, and I know that, like, that probably wasn't the best thing. I need a second to regroup. It's been a really long time. I really didn't think that this would make me cry. But just fixing what I just messed up with tears real quick. Okay, so let me finish. I'm just gonna finish doing this eye real quick, because I need to finish it before I can talk to you guys, so hold on. Okay, I'm also gonna take that same color I just used, and I'm gonna run that along my lower lash line also. Probably have gotten a smaller brush, but whatever. There we go. That covers up all of the concealer that just decided to deuce out when I cried. Now I'm just gonna blend a little bit of that very first color underneath that red, just so that it's not just red, so it's got something else. So, okay, no crying, not gonna cry. We came home and she was passed away on the bed, and we didn't know that she was passed away because we couldn't tell if she maybe had just passed out or something like that. So we took her to the emergency vet. Okay, now I'm gonna use that Fireball shade. I'm just gonna wet a brush real quick, and then I'm going to dip into that and put that on the center of my eyes. I'm gonna wet it with the L'Oreal Infallible Spray because it works really well for that. And they told us that she had already passed away before we had brought her in, and there was nothing that they could do. And so they offered to actually have her paw print made into a little imprint. I'll go grab it. So they offered to do an imprint of her paw and have it put into this little plaque for us, so, you know, we could always remember her. And so I have that just hanging in our bedroom, and I see it all the time. It's hanging with all my jewelry, so I see it every time I go to get a necklace or something like that. I just got eyeshadow on my phone. So we found out when we took her in to the vet, the emergency vet, after she had already passed away, that she had an incurable disease called FIP, feline infectious peritonitis, which is something that can easily be passed along through feces, and the place that we did get her from was a foster place. And the thing with FIP is that a cat can be a carrier of it but not show any signs and not affect that cat. Like, say Espe can be a carrier of it, and if she can be fine, she can be totally fine, but it's a recessive thing inside of her that if she comes in contact with another cat that has it, or if she comes in contact with another cat that hasn't been exposed to it, it can kill that cat because that cat hasn't been exposed to it, but she already lives with it and it's fine. So it just depends on the cat, basically. So after Rhea passed away, I informed the foster place that we got her from what happened, because we had only had her for 6 months and she passed away. I wasn't asking for my money back, none of that, no. But I wanted to inform her that this could be something that potentially could be a big problem with adoption of other cats in the future, because she's a foster, you know, a foster mom with cats, and if one of her cats were to have it and, you know, she's infecting other cats and not knowingly, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I told her about it. And she told me that they've had problems with this in the past. And, like, this agency has had problems with this in the past, like, being foster moms, and they've had FIP multiple times. And that really, 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 really pissed me off. Because if you know that this is something that is running through your agency and you're still fostering kittens, that is, I'm sorry, there's no other word for it, that's fucked up. It really is. And I try not to say the F word on my channel, but that is so fucked up. It really is. And she was very sweet and everything about the fact that that happened to me and that, you know, I went through that. But the fact that she knew about that and she's still fostering, like, that's just really messed up to me. So obviously when I went to adopt again, I believe since Rhea passed away in July, I read up on a lot of stuff about FIP. I was terrified to adopt again. When we first got Espe, I was literally like helicopter mom. And I was so scared that it was going to happen to me again, and no matter where I got a cat from, like, you know, I obviously, when I got Espe, I got her from somewhere that we've adopted from before. My parents adopted our family dog from there, and she was an amazing dog, and they make sure that they have all of their stuff, you know, their shots and everything before you adopt them. The one thing I don't like about that Fireball eyeshadow is that it can be very patchy. Even when you wet it, it just kind of, sometimes it gets really powdery and patchy. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but like right here wasn't as fully saturated. But I really love this eyeshadow color. It's so pretty. Let me know if you guys know of a dupe for the Fireball eyeshadow out there, because I would love to try a better formula of this eyeshadow, because honestly, Decay's formula on this one is not my favorite. It just does not perform extremely well. Now I'm just gonna take some brown eyeliner. This is the NYX Trade Jolie, and I'm gonna put that in my waterline real quick. I'm gonna try and tightline a little bit with this as well, at least on the outer corner. So needless to say, I was devastated when Rhea passed away, and I read up on feline infectious peritonitis that you need to wait, I think it was 3 months. 2 months. It was 2 full months, so I think it was like 8 weeks. You have to wait at least 8 weeks before you can let another cat into the house because it can linger. And even if it can't, that's fine. I really wanted to, you know, I needed some time to, you know, mourn the loss of her, get rid of her stuff, just deep clean the apartment and everything like that. So right around the beginning of September, we decided to go to a different shelter. Like I said, one that I've adopted from before. Okay, before I do mascara, I'm gonna go ahead and contour my face actually. So I'm just going to take Fawn from Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour and this like NARS Ita brush. It's a fake. It's from an eBay finds video that I've done, which will be linked in the description down there. And I'm just going to contour my face a little bit with that. So around the beginning of September, we went to go look for a new cat. And not that I'm discriminatory against cats or anything, I am not. I love all cats. You guys have probably seen on my Snapchat, any cat that I come in contact with, I make a friend. I do. I always make friends. And so, you know, I was really looking into getting a cat that was a cream color. I've never had a cream colored cat before, and I just really think they're gorgeous, especially with those bright blue eyes that cream cats usually have. I just think they're gorgeous kitties, and so I really wanted a cream colored one. So I was looking on different adoption websites, just, you know, seeing what I could find in terms of cream cats that were available for adoption, because I've always adopted cats. I've never gone to a breeder or anything like that. Well, I want to say I've always adopted, but 3 of the cats that I've had in my life came from either my grandmother's farm or my aunt's farm, so they weren't necessarily adopted, but we didn't get them from a breeder, if that makes any sense. Technically we adopted them, but not from an agency. For my blush today, I am going to use this Nutcracker collection that MAC just recently came out with, and it looks like the shade is called At Dusk. It's this really dusty, peachy pink color, so I'm going to try and get as much of that on my brush as I can. I will say this shade is not super pigmented. Like, you guys can see that there. I mean, I really dug my brush in here and not a lot comes off on there, but I like that because I go ham on my blush, as you guys know, because you've watched these Vibes events before, I'm sure. Sometimes I go a little too ham on my blush and I have to back it up a little bit, but this one is good for building, especially, I mean, if you have any skin deeper than mine, it's probably going to be kind of hard to see on your face because you really, it's pretty subtle, but I really like the color of it. I'm glad that I bought this. I bought it mostly for the highlight, but I knew I would get use out of the blush as well, so I figured just let's go all around and let's just get it. Before I put on my highlight, I'm gonna try and like highlight my under eye area because some of it did come off when I cried earlier. So I'm using this Pro Contour palette from Profusion, and I'm just going to use this Luxie Beauty highlighting brush and try and get some of that lighter powder underneath my eye area just to kind of brighten that area up before I use a shimmery highlight. So I go into this shelter and I'm thinking cream kitty, cream kitty. I really want a cream kitty, cream kitty. And there was some gorgeous cream kitties in there. They were a little bit older, which honestly I was totally fine with getting a cat that was like a year old. Like I said, Rhea died, or I don't even know if I said that, but Rhea died right after she turned a year old. I think she was like a year and a month old when she passed away. So I figured, you know, if they're over a year old, they're probably more likely to live longer. I just really didn't want to only have a cat for 6 months and then it gets sick, and there was nothing I could do. So I was thinking like older kitty, it'd be okay, I'd be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight using this highlighter, and this one is called Tutu. So I'm gonna put that on the cheeky bones. I love this highlighter. It's so reflective. It's a lot more pigmented than the blush, that's for sure. And so I go in there and we're looking around, and I you know, I play with a couple of the older kitties and they're very sweet. There just wasn't any that really were super friendly towards me. And so I was, you know, we went into the kitten room because they have a separate room that they keep all of their little itty bitties in, that are like, you know, younger than like 4 months. So they're all bitty bitty kitties. Just gonna put on some mascara primer here. I have a video on this mascara primer from L'Oreal. If you guys want to watch it, I'll link it for y'all. But I'm just gonna put some of that on the top lashes. So we go into the little kitten room and I'm looking at all the kittens, and there's some sweet little kittens. And this place actually tells you if they're having a health issue right now. They tell you immediately, like on their little time card, like this kitten is having diarrhea. So I saw one that was so sweet and so cuddly, and he was just rubbing up on the cage. I've always had girl cats. Fun fact. I've always had a girl cat. And so I'm always looking for a girl. I'm not opposed to boy cats, like, but I just personally like girl cats. I like having girl cats. They're a little sassy, but you know, whatever, so am I. I'm gonna put on some lower lash mascara. Let me get this puppy open while that top one dries. So we go and we look at all the kittens, and there was one sweet little boy that I really liked. He was super cuddly, but he had said on his card that he was having diarrhea issues, and that was just too reminiscent of Rhea for me. So I ended up not going for him. And then we look into this one little cage, and there's this really fluffy dark brown, looks like it would probably be a Maine Coon, but it had really gorgeous like marbliness to it. It wasn't a tortoise. I believe it was a type of tabby, but he had like really marbly gorgeous fur, and he was, or she, it wasn't a he, it was just she, and she was dark brown, and she had like bright light brown orange marble fur. And I've always wanted a Bengal cat. They're just gorgeous. I just love the way they look, but I wouldn't really ever buy one from a breeder. So I've never been able to get one because they're never in shelters. But sometimes they have a mix in shelters. And so she just reminded me so much of that mix. I was looking at her and she was very standoffish, unfortunately, and just very, very shy. And not that I'm opposed to that in a cat. Like I said, I love all kitties. I love them all. So I love all kitties, but she just wasn't very friendly. And in her same cage was little Peep. Espeon was in there. That's my cat's full name, by the way. I don't think I've said that this video. I've said that in other videos, but her full name is Espeon, named after the Pokemon Espeon. I will insert a picture right here of what Espeon the Pokemon looks like. She was in there, and I think that her name... Honestly, I have no idea what her name was because it wasn't Espeon. And so she was in there, and then she had a little brother that looked exactly like her in there also. And like my biggest life regret is not getting her little brother too, because she is so crazy and rambunctious that she would do really well with another cat, I feel like, but only at birth. Like, I don't know if we can get another cat now because she's very lone wolf. And I picked her up. I asked to hold her because she was just this gorgeous gray tabby. And I had never really seen a gray tabby kitten before. I've seen gray tabby, like adult cats, but I've never seen a gray tabby kitten. And so I was like, oh, I want to hold her. She's so pretty. I love her colors. She's gorgeous. So I held her, and she just was so cuddly on me and just wanted to like lay in my little nook, you know. She was perfect. So immediately we were like, this is the one we want. And she was just under 8 weeks old, so they couldn't give her out yet. Most shelters don't give out kittens until they're 8 weeks old. And so I think she was just about like a week or two under 8 weeks, and she was just under 2 pounds. I don't necessarily agree with this, but the shelter waits until they are over 2 pounds to spay. Over 8 weeks and over 2 pounds. She was just barely under the weight requirement, so they were like, well, probably in about a week or so she'll be over the 2 pounds and we can go ahead and spay her, because they don't give cats out until they're spayed. They don't give cats out until they're spayed, until they've had their first round of shots, everything like that. So we said we want this one. We put a down payment on her, and then I came back a week later and she had just been spayed and she was fresh and ready to go. She was my little peepster. I wonder if I still have videos of her in the car. I'm sure I have them saved somewhere. I've got to have them saved. If I do, I will try and put them up here so you guys can see what she was like when I first got her home. But she was such a sassy little little nugget. She was so sassy. In the car the entire way home, she meowed. I believe I took off a day of work. I think I got her on a Thursday afternoon, and then I took off that Friday so that I could be home with her all day long. And so then I stayed with her all weekend long. I didn't make any plans that entire weekend. It was me and her in the bathroom together. We were just hanging out and cuddling and playing. Talking about you. Yeah, cuddle muffin. But yeah, so that's basically the story of how I got her. You know, Monday I had to go back to work. So the second I would never do anything after work. The second that I could get home, I would get home. Blake worked in a job. I've worked in a 9-to-5 job for a couple of years now, so that's been my schedule. But when we first got SB, Blake worked in a job where he had like kind of random hours, so he was home with her when I wasn't, which was really awesome. So she really didn't have a whole lot of alone time when she was little. She, you know, she had some because, you know, we both worked full time, but we tried to be home as much as possible for her and really tried to get her used to us. She was just my little pride and joy, and I was so protective of her, you guys. Like, I was very protective of her. I was very scared that something was going to happen to her like what happened to Rhea, and luckily she was totally fine. She didn't have any ear infections, which was great. She actually still had a worm issue when we first got her, but we took her into the vet and they got that taken care of super fast. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was disgusting because I saw the worm that was inside of her. It's one for the books. It was very large. It was a very large worm. Poor little baby. But we got that all taken care of, and she's been happy and healthy ever since. She's just turned 3. Jeez, she's so old. I think she just turned 3 this year in about June. So she's about 3.5 now. So that's the story of little Peep. Oh, like, I guess I should probably mention, she's just a tabby. She's a gray tabby domestic short hair. I love her. I love her so much. Okay, for lip color, I'm going to use the color Mosh from Colourpop. I'm just going to put that on real quick, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I'm just going to go fix my hair really quickly, and then I will be back to show you guys the final finished look. Aren't you guys glad I pinned my hair back? Because literally, like, it would be, like, in the face. All this video, the entire video would be like, okay, let me fix this real quick. I need to do that more often. I need to keep a clip over here. But that is the final look for my eyes using that Fireball eyeshadow. I think it looks really cool. It's definitely super orange smoky, but I'm kind of feeling it. Super fall vibes going on. I think it makes my green in my eyes like bam, like pop out at you guys. So I think it looks really cool. I hope you guys like it as well. So I know I inserted some, you know, clips of pictures and stuff of SB, but for any of y'all that this is my first video that you're ever watching, this is SB. She's my little spoople. I have so many nicknames for her, but this is SB. Show them your pretty eyes. Show them your pretty eyes. She's not a big fan of being held, but I really wanted to just show you guys her. She's my little baby, and she's really not having it right now. You're not having it. Look at that face. She's such a sassy girl. Oh, Peep. You are something else, you know that? She's so sassy, that one. You sassy. He's like, Mom, please stop. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of V Vibes and Vents, learning all about my history of my own personal kitties. If you guys want me to talk about the other kitties that I've had, because I think in total I've had 5 or 6 other kitties in my life, let me know down below. And let me know if you guys have had similar experiences with FIP, or if you guys know any information. Be sure to leave it down below for other people to be more informed. So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything. If you guys like this video, be sure to show some love to the like button down there, and if you subscribe, you can be a member of my Muse family. And I love you guys so much. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye guys.